Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm your host, Ben, and we're here with
Liam.
What are we doing today, Liam? What is today? Theater of the Mind. What is today?
Sunday.
Which Sunday?
Sunday
This
prior.
is getting posted on Mother's Day, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mother's Day.
Yes, it is Mother's Day. I asked you a while ago, I'm like, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? And he's just like, let's just get a bunch of moms together and just ask them a bunch of questions. And I'm like, I don't know if they want to do that. Well, we got them to do it anyway. We have 6 moms with us today.
3 generations.
5 moms went on it.
Aunt, pseudo-momish, but 5 moms and an aunt. But you do a lot. We'll get to that. That's why you're here, hanging out. I think we should go ahead and, all right, so 3 generations. Let's start with the first person to have been a mom.
Oh, okay. First to be a mom.
And who would that be?
The oldest one in the group. That'd be me. Yeah.
And how long have you been a mom?
60-ish years.
60-ish years?
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's 60 years, Liam.
That's surprising.
Want to hit the next one?
Well, after you had a kid, and then your kid had kids and became a mom, and that is
Hi, I'm Joyce.
Grandma Joyce.
Grandma Joyce.
And how long have you been a mom?
42 years.
You're old, Dad.
I am old. Recently 42.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Young 42.
Like a last week 42.
right? And then we also have with us Sandy.
Hi.
How long have you been a mom?
Almost 15 years.
Almost 15 years.
June will be 15.
Okay, we're going to go. Okay. Rhea, the other grandma, her kid is Joyce. Joyce's kid, who are your kids?
Ben, Rhiannon, and Nikki.
And then Sandy, who are your kids?
Alexis and Riley.
Who's older?
You had to be there to know. That's a family secret.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually, is that a normal thing?
That's our thing.
They don't get to know
Okay.
until they're
I'm
18.
going to say because we know one is the alpha, the oldest.
Everyone always guesses right. Like, she's the older one, huh?
We might be twins when we're done introducing everybody because there's something interesting at this table. Okay, and then we have Nikki would be the next.
Yes, and I've been a mom for 10 years.
And who's your kid?
JJ.
And then on the other side, Kelly. Hi.
Mom.
This is her first time. Like, oh no, she was on the holiday one.
Yeah.
Might be my first time talking on my.
Yeah. How long have you been a
You could
mom?
often hear her in the background of podcasts,
Yeah.
Right?
yelling information. We always,
Fact checking.
we never have any information, and we go, Kelly.
So how long have you been a mom?
5 years now, as of last week.
And who is your kid?
Sophia, which I just recently learned she likes the name Sophia more than Sophie. So I've
She
been
does.
calling her Sophie her entire life, but I guess it's Sophia now.
And then we have Megan, who is your twin.
Yeah.
And she is around helping out
Come
a
on.
bunch. So she's like pseudo-ish mom.
No, we live together, and she parents her every day. So
Yeah.
I would say honorary mom,
Honorary mom.
Yeah.
auntie
And-
title.
And then you, who's your kid?
Oh, I'm not a mom.
What do you mean, his kid? His kid's
Liam just wants to feel
Liam-
included, okay?
He's like, isn't this the award show? Don't I get all the awards? Okay, so now here's what's interesting, Liam.
Yes.
Other grandma Rhea is a twin.
Wow.
Sandy has.
Older.
You're older?
I'm older by 11 minutes. Yeah.
11 minutes.
When'd you find out?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you know immediately?
That's a long
Or did you have
time.
Oh, actually, the doctor said, "Doctor, come back, There's another one." They didn't know back then that my mom was having twins. And,
Thank God they checked.
but we were preemies, 7-month preemies. We were in the incubator for 3 months until we were 5 pounds.
And then Sandy has twins. Do you have twins in your family?
Yes, apparently.
So how far back is the next twin?
It's on my mom's side, and it was my grandma's sister's kid.
And then Kelly and Megan are twins. I don't know why I think that's weird that there's a bunch of twin over.
And we're 30 seconds apart, but that's only because we were C-sections. They were just like plucking us out of there and throwing us over their shoulder and stuff.
There's
She
one
definitely
minute.
pushed me behind some organs. Had to shift things around a little bit.
Yeah, she was hiding, apparently. Didn't want to come out.
She was shy then. She's still shy. Huh?
So we're going to, Chasing the Whimsy is going to a couple cons this year. We're going to be doing some panels. And as we continue our con adventure, like, it would be kind of cool, like, to moderate a panel. So this is kind of like what, in theory, it would look like if we were going to moderate a panel. So we've got a bunch of you guys here. We're going to ask some questions, and you guys jump in, answer whatever. But I think what would be fun, this was brought up earlier this week, and I couldn't find any good generational questions, but let's go with, like, the four youngest. Grandma, how did you change, what were diapers like when 62 years ago?
We didn't have disposable. We had cloth diapers. And we had diaper service. And, you know,
What does diaper service do?
well, after you kind of like rinse it out and plop it in whatever, you put it in a plastic whatever, and then they come and pick it up, and they take it away, and they bring in new, fresh, clean.
So like the milkman on Tuesdays leaves milk
There's milkmen too.
and it takes the empties, and then Wednesday the diaper guy comes by and picks up.
Yeah, it's not too extinct. Our mom actually, like, whatever,
Did that with
3
us.
years ago,
Yeah.
was like doing that with the reusable diapers and everything like that.
Yeah, she had a
And they still
service
pick
pick
them
it
up.
Wow, that's crazy. What'd you guys do?
No, thank you.
We did not do that either. We used to dispose of
There,
those.
there are some diehard cloth diaperers out there, and they are not at this table.
When did disposable diapers like come into play? Do we know? Is there like a like? Did you have disposable diapers?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so at least 40 years.
I feel like I vaguely remember interacting with them when I was a kid. Like maybe we were around a baby and they were very plasticky. I feel like the outside felt like a garbage bag.
Yes.
It says 1940s and 1950s. I'm not sure.
That's
This is why Kelly's a fact check.
Yeah.
I do remember them being.
Do you want to go
flat.
stand like across the yard to yell it to us?
I would love to, actually.
Grandma, are there any other generational things from when, or in Mom, that you see different, like significantly different, 60 and 40 years different than what you see today with us raising our kids?
I think the formula too has changed. It's powder and you mix it with water.
What was it before? They just brought it into liquid?
I don't remember.
Okay. But shocked enough where you're like, I don't know if I like this powder water idea.
Yeah.
Mom,
It was all
do we have, I know that we all had car seats, but can you guys remember, like, back in the day, like, did we have car seats? We did? It was one of the arm things. Because I remember, like, when Nikki and I were young, we would, like, lay in the hatchback or drive in the trunk.
Yeah, we went in the trunk, or like, in a minivan, there's like that aisle by the sliding door. They would put us on the cooler. We'd sit there. We got stopped by the cops once and they didn't say anything. That's how you fit 13 people in a minivan.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I remember just riding in the back seat,
Okay,
lay down, take naps.
that was me too.
Nikki, Sandy, you guys time travel back where safety's a concept, maybe just an idea, and not something that's widely enforced. Like, do you lose your mind?
Yeah, I would never, ever do with JJ what we grew up doing.
You're like, I'm not driving. Oh, that's so funny.
Didn't you ask if we would let Liam drive in the trunk one time? And I was like, no, we're never going like that. And just so you can get the experience.
Liam needs life experience. I
You
used
can
to,
have death experience if there's an accident.
Yeah, seatbelts were not required way back when. I don't know.
and I don't know if all the seats had seatbelts.
No, they didn't.
I don't think when you kids were, I think once you were, I don't know, 3, 4 out of the car seat, we didn't have the boosters when you guys were little, or the 9-year thing, or I think once you grew out of that car seat, it was seatbelt.
Like when it no longer clipped, you're like, fuck it, he's done.
Yeah.
Sit on a phone book, maybe.
What did I do? Because I had
You boosted.
for a little bit, and then I remember laying down
Yeah.
in the car. Mostly.
Oh yeah, because like Kelly mentioned, like I'm just like whatever. I'm like the whatever dad because like I take Liam to school in the morning at like 5 a.m. He's still sleeping, and I'm like, just lay down. And he's just like, would you let JJ lay down in the back seat on the drive 2 hours away,
Strain.
unrestrained?
Can I belt him in?
I know.
But so would it just be the middle? The
I'm
middle
guessing
seat?
lap belt.
But he's like,
No, you know what? He can just have a kink in his neck and just be sore.
Against
It's
the
fine.
window or whatever.
You can stay a dad. Like,
Do we need to buy him one of those travel pillows for Christmas?
I think we
that
have
next
one.
time he travel, he doesn't get a kink.
He also learned that the back seat reclines about 5 inches, so he will recline himself. It's not a huge recline, but it goes back just slightly.
They have those huge like travel pillows now that kind of look like the pregnancy ones, like sleeping.
oh yeah.
Yeah, no, he doesn't need to lay down.
Mom, you take Liam on a trip. You let him lay down in the back seat?
Today?
Yeah.
Now?
That was 5 years ago.
a random. She was
Like,
5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have driven with him.
Why not?
Well, I don't like to drive, and I don't like to be in charge of anybody else's child.
How about driving on
I
the
don't-
freeway?
Well, I don't even go on the freeway.
Trip to Disneyland, all side street. See you in 3 days. Oh, that's funny. I never even thought about that. Do you guys have problems driving other people's kids?
I don't know if I've had the opportunity to.
No, I don't
I've
have a
driven
problem.
Anthony and Miguel around. I
Those
don't
are
care.
nephews. That's different.
It's just somebody else's kid.
But they're
Everyone's
old.
somebody else's
They're
kid.
old. They're
Sophie's
teenagers.
somebody's
It's like
kid.
driving Liam around right now.
All right, so your kids' friend come over, and they're friends with a Ben, who's like, my mom just lets me do whatever. I'm going to sit on the floor between the seats.
My
Heck
car, my
no.
rules. Sorry.
Yeah, on my way up to the cabin with my friends, we were, like this seat between the seat, and there's like that
Yeah.
little. We were laying down in there. Was that like a no still?
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. I mean, I follow all the rules because I'm like, I guess that's what you should do, but I still, like, inside me, I still have that rebel, like, just lay down.
We've done a lot of play dates with like a particular friend, and she's just a bit smaller than JJ, and so we either move a second booster or make sure we have her booster and she is also boosted, like, because that's what is necessary, is legal.
When the kids were young and they would go to a friend's house after school, I had their boosters, and when their friends' parents would pick them up, I would walk them out with their booster seats and
That's
have them
crazy.
sit.
Okay, so when my car broke down and mom had to come get me, if I didn't have the car seat, would you have felt okay driving Sophie in the back of your car from grandma's to my house 3 blocks away?
What if I was holding her?
Kelly would have come from wherever she was and come got her. You know that.
I'd be like, go inside the Dunkin' Donuts. I'll be there.
Right?
We just want to say,
Teleport.
Grandma's to Ben's isn't even a major street.
I
That's all
know.
neighborhood. You were in the same neighborhood.
I've driven that.
And it's just because you're scared of someone else's kid.
He wasn't grandma.
Oh, there was you had to cross the street.
We had to make a left turn.
Oh, well, that changes everything.
Unprotected
Okay.
lefts are scary.
Then I support that, yeah. You need the car seat.
I think you should
Ask about
explain why you don't do left-hand turns.
I don't know. I just don't.
Statistically, they're a lot more dangerous than right-hand turns.
I go very far out of my way not to make a left.
My grandma did that too.
Do any of you other guys have, like, weird driving phobias?
No, I don't.
When Sophie was little,
No, I drive for a
maybe.
living. So Kelly has a phobia of going over the posted speed limit by even 1 mile per hour. I
what
think
it's there
that
for.
she thinks the car will explode.
I'll go 3 or 4 miles over.
I am the opposite of Mom. I would rather take a freeway. I hate service streets. Hate them.
I respect that.
When did you guys lose the kid gloves? Like, where you're like over, like, super protective of, like, make sure everybody's, like, I don't go a mile over, everybody's tucked in, and, like, when did you start to, like, relax and be like, they're not going to break?
Still waiting on that.
18?
In a lot of ways, I was never that way. Dad was. JJ's dad.
Edwin?
Yes.
Very super, like,
Oh, he is the cliche first-time overprotective mom, and I am the rub some dirt in it, you're fine dad.
yeah, there we go.
Roles reversed. I was never really put the kid in a bubble. Safe, like car safety is one thing, but big picture, that was never me.
No eating in the car either.
So, like, kids running around, you'll let a kid run around.
Car was full of Cheerios and Pop-Tarts
Yeah.
and peanut butter and jelly.
It's been 10 years and my kid still does not eat in my car.
I wish I did that. But the problem is, like, how do I tell a kid not to eat breakfast an hour and a half away from school?
You're not gonna die.
I know, right?
School provides breakfast. He can eat when he gets there.
No, because I have to pay for that too. Ugh. Were you very, like, super protective? Like, wrap your kid in bubble wrap?
No, I was not super protective at all. Like, they'd fall down, and when I'd look at their face, instead of
Right.
say touchdown like this, and then they would get up and think it was a fun game.
Right.
So no, we were not because they were falling all the freaking time.
Right.
There might have been a little bit more protection around Alexis,
Okay.
but other than that, it was just trying to make sure other things were not getting injured when she would fall.
So, Megan, are you as protective?
With Sophie, no. Okay, so like we're on the playground or whatever. Kelly's very like
Oh, like,
Everything-
don't climb the ladder.
as designed, and then I get on there and I'm like jumping over the fences of the things and the linings. I'm like, hey, what if we went back down backwards on the slide?
God, no.
Kelly's like, she's gonna fall. I'm like, well, she'll fall. It's okay. Like,
But it's not okay because that's not how you use a slide.
We are very against this, not because we are parents, but because we are teachers.
And because that she will go to school and then she will go down head first, and then that teacher will say that is not how you use the slide.
We've done. I had to have talked about this once before on the
Yeah.
podcast because I'm a huge fan of the going up the downslide.
No.
We did hashtags one week even.
Yep.
Hashtag upslide,
Oh,
hashtag
yeah.
downslide.
I just wanted her to be more adventurous with her body and be more like of a risk taker, because a lot of times she gets caught in how everything is supposed to be and how everything should be, and then like you don't want to like go on the outside of the playset and run around, and we used to do that all the time as kids, but she's like, nope.
We used to
that's
go
not how you
down
do it.
metal slides. Remember metal
Metal
slides?
slides is crazy. That I would not support because it gets way too hot in here.
I don't know how or why we did it, but were you super protective of, like, after me, were you just like the hell with everybody else, or even with me, you're just like, just go. You're like, oh, he made it. Grandma?
I was good with all the, experiences and letting. When I first started babysitting for JJ, he was under 2. And he was in the backyard. I gave him a pail and some water and the rocks, and he put the rocks in the pail. And Nikki came in and she says, "What's he doing?" I says, "Being a boy." And she said, "Okay. Yeah, you got to let the kids do."
Liam, is your mom super, like, protective?
No.
She lets him fight other boys for competition.
Oh, now.
When I was little, I think so, yeah.
Wouldn't you know more than him?
When I was with you, no.
He wasn't online yet. He doesn't know.
Well, it was always. Oh, I'm going to stay away from that question for now.
No, go ahead.
No. Interesting.
You can't just do
Yeah, I just let Liam do whatever he wanted. To a certain extent, but for the most part, yeah. You got any questions?
No?
I'm trying to think. Is it?
Would you let your kids drive at night when no one's around in a parking lot?
When they're 16.
Yeah.
When did the kids get to sit in the front seat? Sorry, go ahead. So, like, JJ 10 was like, let me sit in your lap and let me steer. You're like, no? Middle of the night? Summer?
I don't know if he's 10 now.
12.
That's left about safety and more about that doesn't sound fun for me.
Edwin comes home and says, we just got back from driving around the parking lot. Are you upset?
Would never. Do you remember the last question? He would never.
He's like, I can't fit a car seat in the driver's seat.
That's not even kind of plausible.
Your kids are getting, Sandy, your kids are getting close to 16. Are you worried about them driving?
Yes and no.
I'd be worried about one more than the other.
One's a little coordinated more than the other?
And it shows.
Yeah. I know that they've driven before. Their father's taken them out to empty parking lots and whatnot.
I guess it's just a dad thing. We're just like, let's break all the rules.
But then when we've gone out to their grandparents, they have like a quad and golf cart. And so they've gone and they've driven those around their property as well. So they don't have a lot of experience.
Well, that's
They have
good practice,
been
though.
behind a wheel.
So conceptually, driver's license would be the next milestone for your kids. Nikki, what's your kid's next milestone, and are you worried about it? Are you like nervous for him?
Milestone?
High school?
Girlfriend?
Hmm.
Oh, he's so uninterested in girls in that way.
For now.
For now. I guess
Because he's going into fifth?
he'll be going into 6th.
So,
But he's in a K-8, so middle school won't be that much of an adjustment. So I guess high school.
okay, so which is 3 years. So 3 years from now, in theory, going into high school will be his next milestone. Are you worried about him going to high school?
Not really.
Mom, what were some of the things you were worried about with each of the kids? Did you have different worries? Something different, me from Rhiannon versus Nikki?
No, I think you just paved your own way everywhere. So
You can't stop it.
And I think if something wasn't right or whatever, you would speak up and let it be known that, hey, Rhiannon's whatever, or Nikki's whatever. And
He snitched.
I don't know. I think everybody just did their thing. But I think you guys were like 4 when you were in the front seat without car seats.
I'd like, how old were you? Had to have been close to like 6, maybe.
No, like it was like 7, 8.
If I let you in the front seat?
Yeah, you didn't let me in the front seat because I remember there was a compromise where I laid in the back seat and you wouldn't let me sit in the front.
Okay. That's been compromised. No seatbelt laid down versus front seat, maybe an airbag and a seatbelt. Grandma, did you have anything? Did you worry about anything watching this one grow up?
Well, she was a good child.
Do you agree with that, Mom? Were you a good child?
Yes, I was.
Although there was a time or two when she'd go out her bedroom window.
What is Sophie's next milestone?
A kindergarten.
Are we worried about her going to kindergarten?
I previously was going to say yes, but she seems so excited about it. I mean, I thought she was going to be like, oh, I'm going to have to leave daycare. I'm not going to see my friends anymore. She's super excited. I will say that she takes after her mom, and she's very, 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 very shy. So it's hard for her to go out there and make friends. But, she made him at daycare. She'll make him in kindergarten.
Unless you can find a little girl one-on-one, then she's like, let's play.
No, even sometimes she kind of stays in the wings. We were at the splash pad yesterday, and there was way too many kids there. And she was like, I just want to run around the edge. And then this little boy planted himself right in front of her. And he went, hi, what's your name? And she's like, Sophia? He's like, play with me, Sophia. And he grabbed her hand and ran her through the splash pad. And then once she finally got that in, she freed up and was a little bit more relaxed. But she won't jump in and be like, will you play with me? Will you play with me? She waits for somebody else to say and invite.
I'm scared she's gonna get bullied.
Bullied for what, bro?
Because kids are mean.
Kids are assholes.
Family show, Ben.
I know, but they are. Are your kids shy around like strangers, or like did they make friends easy?
I think they make friends easily when they want to. Alexis is more outgoing than Riley, so she makes friends a little bit easier than her sister does, just because she puts herself out there.
Do they have all the same friends?
Not all of them now that they're in high school. They've really kind of branched out into having some different friends, but yet they still do have some friends that are common between them. Excuse me.
Yeah, I made friends easily, more so than my sister. And Rita would tell me, Mom would say, take your sister with you. You know, I don't really remember that because, I mean, she was always, you know, my sister. Not that I had to take her, but that's fine. But I know JJ, I would take him to the park. We would take a
He'll talk to anybody, right?
shovels.
He'll jump in anybody's car.
Hi, my name is JJ. Would you like to play?
Stranger danger was never a thing for JJ.
He would introduce himself to moms and pops and say,
He does better with adults.
Yes.
He struggles with kids his own age more, but he'll talk to older kids and adults all day long.
yeah.
Stranger danger was a big thing in the 80s. It was like when the whole like
Serial killer.
right. Were you worried about us hanging outside playing in the front yard and being snagged? Do you guys worry about it? Like your kids play in the front yard and just disappear for hours like we used to?
I wish he would. He don't want to, but I wish he would. We picked our house based a lot on proximity to the neighborhood park.
Okay.
And that we're only 6 doors down and he doesn't even have to cross the street to get there. I would love for him to just go play at the park. Just go.
Do you worry about stranger danger with like Sophie?
Well, Sophie's 5, so she can't be going to a park by herself anyways, but yes and no. I guess she's very shy, so she's not going to be like...
Jumping in vans.
You know what I mean? She's very shy. She's not going to go talking to anybody. If her first reflex is if somebody tries to talk to her is to run to us.
Right.
But, you know, when she gets older, I'd be kind of worried about it, but worried about, like, limiting it. Because when we were kids, we were, like, 8, 7. You're biking to, like, a town away to look at a pond and stuff like that. And our parents had no idea where we were. They had no idea when we were coming back. Nobody told anybody anything. They were at work or, you know, whatever they were doing. It was just like, be back by when the street lights are on.
Street lights, you got.
Yeah.
I know.
That was the only rule.
I know you didn't care, but my mom got really upset.
About what?
Because I would go out and I would hang out with kid across the street for like the whole day.
Oh yeah, Caden?
I don't even know.
Yeah, okay.
And I ended up going home and being like, Mom, I was at home all day and I was hanging out with my friends, and then she got mad at you, right?
Probably.
And then now I'm out all the time and she doesn't care.
Well, you're older now. It's harder to kidnap you.
You had your hand
Hopefully.
raised?
Hopefully.
Yeah, 911. Did we ever teach our children about safety and how to phone 911 if there's an accident?
Does Sophie know her phone number or address?
She knows Kelly's phone number. They learn it for some like kind of class or something like that.
We
Remember we had to do that like in karate. They'd say, learn your mom's phone number. And you're like, okay, I guess this has to do with punching people.
I know my mom's phone number.
I did with Liam was like, if anything happens, you go next door and talk to Vaughn. I'm like, whatever happens, that's where you go. Do your kids have a exit strategy or in case of emergency, break glass?
Yes. Yes, he knows at least 2 different ways to exit the house. He knows where to go for safety. He knows where we would meet him. And he knows all the important phone numbers.
Yeah.
Did you ever teach us that?
I don't think so.
There's a fire, run
I
to
know
where the
you
not
guys
fire is.
knew names and address and phone number, but I don't think I ever taught you 911.
if you guys in the summer, if something catches fire, like there was no like fire extinguisher, like smoke detector, just don't touch it. Were you guys big on did you guys know your home address or phone number when you were kids?
Yeah. We knew our mom's phone number. Is there you would leave a message.
Work number 866-1726. That's amazing. There's only I have like 5 phone numbers that I just remember. 788-7051. 71 was Wendy's phone number.
Are we bleeping this?
I don't know if anybody.
just
I don't even know if those numbers even work
Yeah,
anymore. Back in the day before there were zip codes.
He's not saying zip codes. Remember our childhood phone number because it spelled out "Hey baby."
434-2229. Yeah. We.
439.
That's what I meant. I'm dyslexic. What else we got?
I do remember when we were kids, there were zip codes, but you didn't have to use them. And my parents would get a little aggro about it because we'd like be dialing the number. Like, you don't even need to use the zip code. I'm like, okay.
You mean area code?
Area code, yeah, the area code.
Yeah.
And they're like, you don't have to use area code. They live here. I'm like, how was I supposed to know that? I don't know. I'm a kid.
I remember when our city split in 2, and then all of a sudden you had to know if you needed it or not.
Yeah.
Because in your area code was fine, but out of your area code
Yeah.
you needed it.
Yeah.
If I wanted to
You
call
needed to
Jason
know
across the
which
street.
side of the city we were on.
Well, there was 602, 623, and 480.
That's farther south.
Yeah.
You might want to bleep those for location.
Yeah. Well, that's when we were kids before we moved to Florida. I mean, not,
Sunny, arid Florida.
does your taste in movies or music have any influence from your mom, or is there something specifically that you associate with mom, like a movie and or TV show, or artist or music?
Yes, there's a few. Cher
100%. Yeah.
will always be mom. A handful of 90s movies. The show ER.
It's like weird. She's like, I don't know if I'd ever like this, but because she did, I think I kind of like it now.
Yeah. That's how I started watching ER.
You're like,
Because mom did.
did you get anything from your mom?
Yes, a lot of the 90s country was my mom. And Rod Stewart. That's one from my mom. And we used to watch some of the 90s, 80s, 90s movies. The Footloose, Grease, Dirty Dancing. Those just became some of my favorites because that was what we watched all the time.
Right. Did you guys ever watch TV together?
No.
They do now.
They do now, though.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they circled back. Because we used to do with Lamb, like 10 years ago, we used to do movie night after dinner, or TV.
You got in trouble for that too?
Some of the stuff we let this kid like semi-watch was always crazy. Like, I don't even know.
What were we watching? Was it
The
Sinners?
OJ. No,
OJ?
The OJ one.
Oh, This Is Us. We were doing This Is Us.
I remember that show.
Did you get anything from your mom?
No.
Do you guys have any influences from your mom?
Like TV or music?
Yeah.
Law and Order SVU. I don't remember what age we were watching it, but we were probably too young.
Probably not when we were like kids, but now I tend to listen to a lot of her like really old time salsa music because I remember it from when she was cleaning the house on Saturdays. And back then it was like, oh my God, Mom, it's 7 a.m. on Saturday. And now I'm like, man, I crave that music. That really gets me motivated to do stuff.
Liam, what kind of influences are you getting from your mom?
I actually don't know right now. Because I don't... She like listening to like musicals and plays, and I don't like that.
I'm trying to think if there was.
I know, I kind of just blanked.
I thought you were big into Hamilton for a while. You were
I was.
excited when it was on Disney.
I was, yes.
But was that her or me?
You got me into it first.
Oh.
That's really random. I don't know how you got me into Hamilton. And my
I
mom's
have
big-
no idea, man. Like,
Because I got my mom into Hamilton.
that's great. Well, that wind is picking up crazy right now. That's so crazy. What else we got? Now I have a word buzzing. That's so crazy. Sorry. just gonna leave it in. People are gonna be like, there was a buzzing in his ear.
I get more from you than my mom.
Just
does,
has tinnitus.
right now. When I was younger, my mom. A lot.
Yeah, but your mom's like super mom and like way more supportive. And like I'm supportive, but I'm like I say no a lot. Are you guys all a bunch of yes moms?
No.
No.
Were you a yes mom?
I would say more yes than no.
Grandma? You were like, no. Stop it.
Yeah.
She's definitely a yes grandma.
I'm a yes grandma, but a no.
That does happen to grandmas.
Yeah.
Come, yeah.
And you would say you were a yes mom?
I would think so. I mean, you guys weren't grounded all the time, or
Yeah, no, things were super chill.
No real grounding, kind of just like I need to try to assert some authority, so you're grounded.
we ever really wanted to do anything because it was so hot. We all stayed in the house.
I remember the one time mom grounded me. I was allowed to stay in the front yard, and she said I had to be close enough to hear the phone ring if she called. That was my grounding.
What did you get grounded for?
Staying too late at the neighbor's house.
Oh, okay. After dark.
You guys spank your kids?
No.
I spanked once because I called her out. Yes? I was like, you won't do it. Never mind.
That's what I did with my mom, too.
He did the same thing.
Do you remember being spanked, Joyce? How many times? I remember once you crossed the street. No crossing the street.
No.
I think you were 5.
And you guys are nosed because you just don't believe in it, or your kids are super awesome?
I don't believe in corporal punishment.
What about you guys? Were you guys spanked?
We don't spank. We were spanked and
don't
more
spank.
spanked. And we don't believe it for our kid. And it's worked so far. I mean, she's pretty cool. I mean, she's a very chill kid, though.
Yeah.
I've personally never spanked my kids. It's not a way that I feel they can be punished. There's other ways to get things that you want. But have they been spanked? Yes. Not by me.
How are your kids in their terrible twos? Because this one was a biter.
2s are great.
Terrible 2 is a misnomer. 2 was great.
Bring on 3.
3?
3-nager was big.
3 was bad.
3 was bad.
I think 3, I was...
He was a biter.
I bit my kid back and she stopped.
I made it fit. No, I wasn't. I can't remember.
I get phone calls.
I like that because then he's like, hey, this hurts.
Yeah, and we tried the timeout. I tried, the reasoning, everything that you could possibly do. Did I go full on dog biting?
Breaking skin.
Chunk
It
out
was
or
just like a tiny, but it was enough to startle her. Like, why are you doing that to me?
anything. Oh, is that what that feels like?
And she never did it again. It was like a last resort thing.
Were we pretty chill all the way through? Or did we have crazy 3-year-old antics?
I think when you guys were all young, we lived with Grandma.
Yeah.
And
How was it, Grandma?
worked during the day. So Grandma had you guys more
trained.
so,
Yeah.
more so than I think when I was home, we just had fun time. But
Yeah.
Grandma did a lot of
Raising. I've said it before and I say it again. You have to teach kids respect. All you kids had respect. I demanded it. Really.
Or were you a biter, Lamb? Either.
You already had that killer instinct.
It's I don't know. It was interesting because I get phone calls. They're like, "Do you have problems going to the store with Lamb?" I'm like, "No. He's cool. He does in and out."
I feel like I was the best with you.
And she's like, "We had to leave early, and he bit me." And I'm like, "What are we like?" I'm like, "What is he doing? Biting people?"
Don't take me from the store.
Do you guys do something with your kids that your mom did with you? Is there something that you do that they did?
In a roundabout way, sending the kid to grandma's house for the weekend or for the overnights was on the highlight reel from childhood. And I love that JJ gets to do that with grandma the way we got to do that with grandma, because she makes the most random mundane things seem fun. She mentioned the pail with the rocks in the water, but he was having a blast.
Right.
Or I'd come over and he'd have a mop bucket and he'd be mopping the cement, turning it dark, and that was fun for him. But like going to grandma's house was like the thing that was like our weekend highlight.
But which is weird because you couldn't go home and do the same thing. He's like, nah,
Nope.
that's dumb. You can't do that over here.
Nope, that's a grandma thing.
Right. So you're big on the grandma's house.
Mom always put me first. She was married 5 times. So I appreciated the fact that she always made sure that my needs were always met and whatnot. So I think in a way, I always tried to make sure, just like she did, my kids' needs are met. They have what they want, no matter who else or what else is going on. I do my best not to let anything else affect them. So
you had 5 dads. Which one did you like the best?
my first one,
Okay. Dad.
The OG.
Okay. I can do that.
I think.
Mom, anything that you got from her that you gave to us?
I could pretty much follow along with Sandy. Of course, I was an only child, so I really didn't want for much or need anything because it was just me. So, but I mean, I just tried to
So close the door.
carry that forward and make sure that you guys, I mean, I know we didn't have everything,
Right.
but we did get stuff.
Because, I mean, I was in dance, I was in cheer, I was involved in all those expensive things. I was an only child, too. So it was really just making sure I had all of the things I needed, all the places we were able to go. And I know it was not cheap. So I appreciate what she did for me, and I continue to try and do that for my kids, even though, things get tight. So,
Well, and with Mom, she always made sure whatever was on the Christmas list, the number one thing, at least that. And then there's nights of like sleeping outside of a Best Buy, Kmart's for like 2 days, and you would tag people in and out.
Grandma did that with me.
You were out there?
Yeah, we went out.
We don't even do that anymore.
We had to get that blue light special.
When
yeah, you do.
when you kids were little, because money was short, and I was just getting out on my own. I had my first apartment by myself, whatever. I had Nikki, and you guys, Rhiannon, would always spend the weekends with me because Mom was working, whatever. But I would give you each $20, and we would go to Toys R Us, and you guys had to pick your own toys.
Yeah.
And this was the week before Christmas. Tradition. So,
I remember that.
yeah.
I would 100% give you $100 or a party because that's why for birthdays. That's what it was. You get $100 and you can have a sleepover, or you can throw a party. You can't have all of it. I would love to give you just $100 and call it a day. He's like, I'm going camping. I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to.
Disneyland is.
I
not
got
me.
the PlayStation 5. I got new shoes.
Disneyland.
Adjusted for inflation.
Disneyland is not me. That is all my mom. If I could go to Boston with my family, I'd go to Boston over Disneyland.
What about you guys? Anything, Mom? You do with Sophie that you got from your mom?
I'll say this is a toxic example, but my mom had 5 children, and so she was often working like 3 jobs and stuff like that. So I always find myself thinking, I can work a couple more hours because I just want her to have everything we didn't have because she could work 3 jobs and it's all spread out amongst 5 kids. And I'm like, I can make a little more money and she'll have everything that she wants, but it takes away from the time that you have to spend with her. So I get home at, I leave work at 7 o'clock and it takes 40 minutes for me to drive home. So it's about time for her to go to bed by the time I come home. So probably like an adjustment needed, but that is something I definitely got from my mom.
You haven't said anything in a while.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a single mom like my mom was, so I spend every waking minute with my child. Mom didn't do that.
You guys don't have to work 2 jobs to support yourselves. You don't have to work 2 jobs to support yourself. You don't have to work 2 jobs to support yourself. Did you have to work multiple jobs when
No,
raising?
no, because I was a saver. I never bought anything for myself.
But your mom had to work multiple jobs. You had to work multiple
She
jobs.
had one income,
Right.
So she wasn't with a man.
Right.
She was by herself, and she had 5 kids. So we're 2 people, 2 incomes with 1 kid. So we don't have to work.
Okay, so you're saying
Yeah,
more.
if I was by
It's a
myself,
number
I'm
thing.
Screwed.
It's the number.
Yeah.
I did 2 jobs until I was 6 months pregnant with JJ, and then I had to let the other one go.
The one working with me.
Oh, that was college. No, I did in-home care in addition to teaching.
Oh.
I worked 2 jobs as well.
Did you have to? Or was it just like,
A little bit.
okay. I was scared.
Up through like my 2nd year teaching.
Okay. Oh, lame. I've been doing it for 15 years.
Do you have to?
Nope.
Nope.
At one
nope.
point, you had 3 jobs.
I did have 3 jobs. Yeah.
You're a workaholic, Dad.
It's complicated.
I
He
feel like
takes after his father.
I was going to say we get that from Mom.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She worked a lot.
She did work a lot.
What kind of hobbies do you guys have?
Like when
Or
kids,
had?
when kids aren't home, or like
Yeah.
like
Yeah. They're shipped off to grandma's. Or they're going to camp. They're at
Take
dad's.
naps.
I like to take naps.
What kind of things did you like to do when you didn't have the kid?
Puzzle.
We did do a lot of puzzles. Did you do puzzles because she did puzzles? Or you like puzzles too?
I like puzzles too. I don't think I did it because you did it. I think it's just
Okay.
Yeah.
People like puzzles. Okay. What did you used to do? Hobby-wise?
I really don't think I ever had hobbies. I'm not.
Pool shark.
Darts?
Oh,
Darts and pool?
yeah, I did play for a little bit.
Yeah.
I used to bake.
What do you guys like to do?
Go to the movies, and when we lived in a better climate, like up north, we
Yeah.
like to hike and stuff like that.
Outdoorsy?
Yeah, I mean, once it came down here and it was like 5,000 degrees half of the year, it kind of. We've recently gotten to doing some hikes and stuff like that with
Yeah.
Sophie because she's now old enough where we don't have to carry her over the entire trail.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you have to be within like a 15-minute run to a bathroom.
Because if you remember Prescott,
Yeah.
we were hiking over a mountain, and literally at the very foot, like placing my first foot on the mountain, the baby fell asleep on me. And so I carried her all the way up, all the way down, and I get off in the mountain. We go down to the trail that goes to like a riverbed, and she wakes up and she goes, "Are we going up the mountain?" There's the culprit right there.
Yeah. It's so fun. What's your favorite thing about being a mom? We'll start on that side. Kelly, your favorite thing about being a mom?
Having my time. He's so sweet. That just, I have a tendency to put other people in the middle of my life, like prioritize them more. And now I have something like super wholesome and wonderful to put in the middle of my life. Huh? Yeah. Ooh, where's the wholesome? Is it in the room with us?
What about you, Megan?
Me. I don't know. I never wanted kids. Very stalwartly never wanted kids. And then when Kelly got pregnant, we decided to move in together, and I was thinking, this is gonna suck, dude. We're gonna have
She's gonna take my sister away from me.
we're gonna have this little gremlin in the house. We're never gonna be able to do anything or have any fun. And I like that. Almost immediately, I realized that wasn't true, and that it was so nice to have Sophie in the house. And even as like a little baby, it was great having her there. And as she grows up, it's crazy seeing her change over the years. And she likes to do the same things that we like to do,
Right.
but she has her own personality, and it like really just seems to blossom. And I don't know. I went from it was like I hate kids to like, I can't imagine living out without ours.
Right.
So.
What about you, Grandma?
was just happy to be a mom. Later on, as kids grow up, move away and get good jobs like at the motor vehicle department, I'd say, that's my daughter. She works at the motor vehicle department. So everyone would say, can you find out if this ticket or do you have to register? I said, here, I'll make a phone call. I would call Joyce all the time.
Did she really?
Still does.
Sure do.
And you're like, I haven't worked there in years. I don't know what rules have changed. Like, I don't know. 15 years ago, here's what you had to do.
I left because all the rules were changing, and she still calls. I'm like, I don't know.
We just wanted to get cut in line.
I didn't even want to drive. I just walked up and said hi. I just like...
You didn't get a car till I was born, right?
You're the only reason why I got a car.
Only reason.
Only reason.
And you were, what, 27 when you learned how to drive?
26, 27, yeah.
Yeah. Only because of you.
If your mom had lived where she grew up, I wouldn't have to have a car. You like being a mom? Or what's your favorite thing about being a mom?
I think just watching everybody's successes.
Yeah.
The different paths that everybody does and how everybody raises. I mean, there's a difference in raising. But I think more so everybody's successes and how proud I am of everyone.
I think currently, I thought when my kids became teenagers, they would be ones to shut me out, lock themselves in their rooms, and not talk to me. And that's not the case. They actually like to be around me, and they like to talk with me. They include me in things that are going on, and any of the drama are just conversations of things. So
Tell us your secrets.
I
Right,
think-
goals. That's exactly what I'm worried about.
I think that's because you make them feel comfortable with you.
yeah, I try to still be their mom. They know I am their mom, but I still want to be an active part of their life where they can trust that they're safe to share information with me, I guess. So
Why you, Nick?
I would say watching him grow and develop his personality, his strengths, his tackling his weaknesses, his interests changing, his hobbies growing. It's been like a journey, and it's super fun to watch.
Like week to week, they become different, but the same person. But and just like they just keep adding a little bit more and more onto themselves. They're like, oh, she likes to run around. Shit, she likes to run and jump now. And you're like, that's like, and it's like the simplest things, but it's just interesting to watch it progress, like as they grow. Yeah.
If you could be a mom all over again, what would you do differently?
I'd like to say choose a different person to have my kids with.
Right? You're like, can I keep the kids but get rid of the guy? Like, does that happen?
But if I say that, when you say that, you don't know what you're going to have for your children.
Right.
And I love the kids that I do have.
Right.
So maybe if I could still have my kids and not the other person that participated, that would be great.
Okay, so it's not so much a do-over, but if you could go back, you would prefer to have
A different sperm donor.
the mom and dad household,
Graham called it.
or like
It doesn't necessarily have to be the mom and dad household. I want my same kids.
right.
My just partner that I had
Yeah.
chosen at the time was
Okay,
no.
got it. What about you, Mom?
I think I would have liked to have been more creative and more artistic, just to be more involved and well, not necessarily understand, but just I would have liked to have been a little more outgoing and into all the things that you guys were all into.
Right. What about you, Grandma?
I would say I'd probably do it the same. When I grew up, I never heard the word college because of my father. Only the men in the family went to college. Girls. But growing up with the grandchildren, even when they were young, 3, 4, 5 years old, I always put college in their mind. Good education, good job. It could be vocational school, could be anything. But you have to advance past high school. When I grew up, that wasn't there. It wasn't an option for me. Although I would definitely go in forensic field if I had my life to do over again. But my kids and my grandchildren, education was high on my list to let them know there was something out there for them to get interested in.
Teach Ben to tie his shoes before 9.
And get him out of Velcro.
He still wears slip-on shoes.
You're like, the kid's pretty bright, I promise, but yeah, he gets his B's and D's backwards and his P's and Q's, and the guy can't tie his shoe. But he's pacing himself. What about you two?
I don't know. I feel like we're still at, so we haven't had time to make regrets yet. Maybe. I mean, I think I did the ideal way. Think about it. I didn't have to be pregnant. I didn't have to deal with no man. This is amazing.
You get to eat, like, she's like, she wants to eat again?
Adoption, but she has my exact genetic code.
Right.
Because we're twins.
Your kid said, I love you.
Yes.
Coolest thing ever?
Somewhere between 1 and 2.
My memory is shot, by the way.
I mean, obviously, I would assume a yes, but do you remember it?
I feel like yes, but I couldn't tell you exactly when. I know that they were at completely different times. One was a lot more verbal than the other.
And 3 years apart.
So, if I were to say, I'd say Alexis would say it first before Riley.
How about you, Mom?
I think we always said I love you. I think all the time.
See, the novelty wore off after the first one. She's like, whoa, that's so cool. The little guy said it. And then, years later, the other one said it, and they're like, oh, well.
When Joyce was growing up, I taught her a lot of words, and I wrote down every word that she knew by the time she was 18 months. And she had a long list of words, she was talking, whatever. But Mommy, Daddy, I love you was always the second thing that I always taught, even the grandchildren. I babysit now across the street. She was 18 months. She was 6 months old when I got her, little one. Now she's 2. But I teach all the kids, I love you. And then they'd say, I love you more. Yeah, it was something you always teach kids.
What about you? You remember the first time she said it?
Maybe not like the exact first time, but I'm always psyched. I was psyched when she said mama for the first time.
Yeah.
I was pushing that mama so hard. I was
keep
like,
going.
do not say dad first. Don't you dare. You go live with him.
And she's been pretty good about like the affection. Like, clearly she loves you more because you're mom, but there's a very close second to be like, fuck dad, auntie.
I will say that I don't remember the first time she said I love you, but I do remember the first time that she wanted to go somewhere with me instead of mom. And I was like, really? She's like, no, I want to go with my auntie. She always used to call me my auntie, and not auntie. She would say, I want to go with my auntie, as if it was like one word.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I want to go with my auntie. I was like, no, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. She actually wants to go with me. Because every time before, I want to go with mom.
Right.
I want to go with mom. She's still kind of like that.
Yeah.
Except if something fun, she'll be like, I want auntie to go with me. She said that recently. She's like, I want auntie to go with me because she's brave.
She might be brave, but guess who's safe?
Yeah, zip lines or roller coasters. She wants me to go.
You asked it. I asked the last one.
All right, we'll wrap it up with, were you guys excited to be grandmas? What's the difference between being mom and being grandma?
I was the first one, right?
You were the first.
Yeah, you were the first one. I was excited and I was nervous. It was a 50-50 for me. But yeah, I enjoy it.
What about you?
I enjoyed being a grandma.
And a great grandma.
And a great grandma. Right.
Holy shit.
And I was always the babysitter.
So it was
I
your
was-
kid had kids. So how was it when you found out she was having kids?
I was 40 when I became a grandmother and an entertainer and turned 40 in the same year. So I had a lot going on in my
Right.
world. But I relished in it. Yeah.
And then now
And
a great mom.
Great grandma. It was strange in the beginning because they would have a date night once in a while, and they would allow me to babysit. And they put him in the bed, they turned off the light, and that was it. What is this? You know, he was so good. He ate good. You know, he read his little books and this, and he memorized books and whatever. But I relished in it. He was such a good. Yeah, you could have another one if you want. I asked her. She always wanted a football team or a baseball team.
Baseball team. I always
Baseball
wanted
team.
a baseball team.
Never mind, JK.
Recently, she says, "No, I got a good one. I'm going to stop there." Basically,
It's like, yeah. You're like, I don't want it. I got it. Don't want no more.
No, we're good. One and done.
Are you excited to be a grandma one day?
Yeah, someday.
Even like, can you guys even can grasp what that would like be like, knowing that
No.
your little Sophie's like,
Sophie has a kid.
yeah,
It's still pretty abstract.
Yeah, it would be Liam.
Someday's
first,
fine, but-
probably. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys got this when you were pregnant, and I wasn't pregnant, but when Kelly was pregnant. Like, we spent a lot of time imagining what Sophie would look like when she came out, but we just couldn't really get there until she actually came out, and we're like, that's what she looks like.
BD Wong
That's like
and
imagine her as an adult. You're like, I don't know how to get there until I see it. What if she doesn't want kids? What if she takes after her auntie?
That's fine too.
it is fine. You want to be a grandma?
Yeah, just think I want to be a mom.
You guys are just like whatever, okay if it happens.
Whatever the kids decide is cool, as long as they're productive members of society.
And she's like, no, you need to have a fucking kid.
you have preferences over boys and girls.
I wanted boys.
What about you? Did you want boys, girls? You like your girls?
I thought I wanted one of each. I'm very
No,
happy with
that's
the
the
two
way.
girls I have.
What about you, mom? You wanted all boys.
Haha. You got
Why?
one.
Why?
So she could name us Brandon.
I wanted a Brandon.
Brandy.
I'm partial to girls, but boys are okay. You're my first grandchild, and I just dug the heck out of you. And I put you in the pool,
It's
my backyard,
Should we make
and I can still see you. You're about this, you know. You were
right
cool.
outside? I don't.
You were cool.
I just like the way she said that. I'm gonna cut that piece out. You were cool. Would you want another one? I'm assuming you're done. I'm assuming you're done. You're still like probably could have another one.
Sophie to have a sibling, or another sibling rather. She has Liam, but yeah, and I also wanted her to be a girl. You know that. I cried when we found out she was
Three
a girl.
women bawling at the ultrasound.
She's a girl, yes. All of us wanted a girl. We were
go,
like, please, please.
Did you want to know the sex? And we said, yeah. Oh, because it's a girl.
I was so excited when that ultrasound text said penis. I was like,
So like, you get pregnant again and you have a boy. You're kind of like,
My girl.
okay,
We got that box checked off.
all right. Would you prefer the boy to be protective of her like Liam is, or is she protecting him?
She's going to protect him. She's older. Both, since they're going to be adults someday, so they're going to protect each other, right?
Yeah.
Sandy, are one of your kids more protective of the other than what of?
Is one more active?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Because clearly you are very protective of her.
Yes.
Something happens this way, you're like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything.
She's kind of a pacifist, and it's crazy to me.
Right?
Megan would never need my help. She'd be done with them by the time I showed up.
No. They both stand up for each other. So if they are in a different situation and one's with a group that's talking negatively about their sibling, they do not get involved, and they don't. And
Not getting involved is not the same as standing up for.
they say that they're not going. They said I'm not getting involved in that. I'm not talking, and that's not true. So don't even look like that, because it is.
This is a podcast. They can't see my face.
Well, I can see your face.
I definitely take it more personally if someone's being rude about Megan than
Yeah.
if someone's.
Yeah, because Megan's like, I don't give a shit. She's like, I don't care, whatever.
If someone says something bad about her,
Oh, yeah.
I get really mad.
You put that right.
But if somebody says bad about me to my face, I laugh it off. She couldn't care less.
But they say bad about her, it's over.
We were horrible to Nikki growing up,
Horrible.
but that was in-house.
Yeah,
Were we ever,
horrible?
was there ever in theory, I vaguely remember sticking up for Rhiannon and you at some point, but
You were closer to Rhiannon.
I know, but
That's a manufactured.
yeah.
You guys are literally only a year and a month apart. You were much closer to her.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I came back around.
Uh-huh.
He's doing that. Only I can bully my sister.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all I got. It's an hour 10. That was fun. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Did you have fun, Mom?
Yes.
Grandma?
I learned a lot.
What'd you learn? One thing.
One thing?
You said a lot.
Well,
I just put her on the spot like a douche.
no matter if you're a mom,
Yeah, lay straight.
you have mom instincts, and we all are pretty much alike.
Yeah, we all have different approaches, maybe, but it's all
Yeah,
kind of
but
the same spirit.
Yeah, the end game is, having, successful, happy, delightful
That better?
children
That good?
growing up and watching them grow. I think I learned a lot that
Hearing
it's
everyone's
mutual.
answers.
It's mutual.
Yeah, I liked hearing everyone's answers. 'Cause, like, watching people that have done it before you
Yeah.
and seeing their kids be so great, you're like, I want that for me. So you're like, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, I was actually just saying that about JJ, because you were mentioning how it's like strengths and differences, and I see him pretty infrequently, but I was like, he seems so different than like last year when we were playing kickball.
Yeah, a lot more out of his shell. Yeah.
He's like out of his shell. He seems so confident, and I was like, I hope Sophie makes that jump, because she's very shy. And, like, it was pretty cool to see.
she needs to skew towards the Bennett side than the me side.
You guys have a good Sandy, you have a good time?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
This was fun. Have any of you guys ever dropped your kids? Whimsy!